The human family. Greetings to everyone. Today we're going to do a decode. Give me just a moment. Remove these. Disconnect that. Greetings. Today we're going to do a decode about El Camino and its historical significance, especially to do with gold and silver. In the show, as I always try to tell you, they're never just speaking and making up names and titles. They're always telling you history, and especially history between people that look like me, and they'll call it religion, but it has to do with more political things. Let's see here. Some of the people's names were Salamanca, and these are names or territories. Right here. Look at this time here. Oh, wow. Now, this show is very deep. It goes all in with times, specific times. And I'm going to show you. I got a lot to unpack here. Give me just a moment. We're going to start with, we have a time marker. It says, I'm going to kind of go backwards, and you're going to have to piece it together because it's just easier for me to do it this way in order to stick with the times that they have here, that I had to stop it on these markers. It says, time marker, 4444. Jessie, the man right here, he represents Hoover. He represents President Hoover, who actually was the one who his staff wrote down the monetary policy. Hoover was a gold miner, and he believed in strong gold policy, and he believed that the dollar should be convertible to gold. He believed in a gold standard. Here, Hoover, at many occasions, tried to save this man. If you pay him, if you watch the show, you pay him a certain sum of finance, and his job is to give you a new identity. His job is to save you. His job is to put you somewhere else with a new beginning. He tried to save Jessie once, but Jessie would not be saved. He also tried to save Mr. White, who did not follow his instructions. And later on, as president, Roosevelt is the one who looked as though he created those policies, but they actually were Hoover's policies. I want you to see if I can get this camera correct here, see the Hoover vacuum cleaners in the back? So that's why I said he represents Hoover, the cleanup man. And look what you see on Jessie's beanie. But we like to call that a soft fez. What do you see there on Jessie's beanie there? Phoenix. We already showed you who the Phoenix was. We already showed you that Phoenix is Aquila, which is a mythological bird. We already showed you. So we call it eagle, but it is actually the Phoenix. Now I'm going to show you again. That's so freaking beautiful. 44. I'm going to break it down for you. Jessie also, in this clip here, he's talking about 911. And he tells the man that you cannot just hang up on 911 calls. In this instance, they're talking about an emergency banking act. But let's get into it so I can play the little clip so you can hear it. Let me turn it up here. Now, I might not be able to land it on there, but you'll know when Jessie hangs up.
Get here and they bust me. First question they're going to ask is, what am I doing here trying to hit?
I'm going to pause it again, fast forward just a little bit because I don't want them to flag me.
The lady or dude or whoever is like, stand in line with me, sir. Stand in line.
I'm going to pause it again, fast forward just a little bit.
Officers arrive. And if you did hang up, they'd call you back immediately.
I'm going to pause it here and read it to you. It says, Jessie, and the man represents Hoover, that you don't just, Jessie says, you don't just hang up on a 911 call, representing those towers, but it also represents monetary policy that's going to come in as an emergency banking act. It says he removes the phone from the side of his soft fez or beanie near the Phoenix symbol that you see on there and hangs up the call on the countertop with the Hoover vacuums in the background.
But hey, guess what? Seriously, yo. Wow.
And I couldn't just nail it on there. So you go look. You got to go look for yourself. I don't want to get flagged.
The officers arrive. And if you did hang up.
I can't really hit it there. So you're going to have to go look for yourself.
The lady or dude or whoever is like, stay in the line with me, sir. Stay in the line until the officers arrive. And if you did hang up, they'd call you back immediately. But hey, guess what? Seriously.
See, he hangs up the phone call and then help arrives in the background. If you can see it, that's when the police arrived. And that's why you see him looking in the distance, because he called them. But he didn't use 911. He just called the local number. Now I'm going to go to another marker here, but I'm going to go through the video. And right here, I'm going to go over here. You see this scene right here? This is Jessie. And he's investigating a home looking for finance. He's looking for money that literally belongs to him. But I want you to look at that time right there. It says 111111. In perfect timing, Jessie discovers the money in a refrigerator, in the refrigerator door, which could be considered as cold storage. I'm going to try to go to their spot if I can find it, if I can get to it. Let me see if I can get to it. But I had to take a photograph of it so you can see it, because it's difficult for me to control it from this state right here. As soon as he finds it, it's in the door of a refrigerator, and he's looked everywhere because it's in cold storage. Let me see if I can get to this other spot here. That's the money that he shows up there with. It's going to be on this end, actually. Let me see what we got here. How you folks doing today? Sorry for me being all over the place a little bit, but when you come with a show like this that is this deep, especially the title El Camino. El Camino actually is an ancient trail. They tell you that it anciently connects churches together. It does. In modern times, once the Moors fell. But before that, there were ancient trade routes that ran from Seville to India and Africa and controlling of spice trades. Once the Moors fell, then, of course, the Christian churches took it over. That's why when you watch movies and you see the top of the buildings, they'll either have a crescent and the star on the top, or they'll have a cross. And the crescent and the star had to have been taken down and the cross put up. That's when you find history. Today, I'm just going in. If you want to hear it, I'm always standing on my square. I'm just going in as deep as I possibly can so that you can understand where I'm coming from. And then you'll see, let me see. And Jessie, at all stages, once he finds the money, that's when he puts that beanie on his head, or soft fez. Okay, let me go over here to another photograph. I'm not going to be able to find it. Let me see. Let me find it over here. It says, give me just a moment. The El Camino. Let me see so you can see this. The El Camino Real had a significant relationship to gold, as it served as a trade route during the California gold rush, connecting the gold fields to major cities and ports. Now, I'm going to tell you something. So a lot of people don't know history very well, so they don't realize that right now we're talking about California, we're talking about the West, but there was Spain on this side too. But back in the day, there also was Spain on that side as well. And when we're controlled by the Moors, it will be called Al-Andalusia. But here you have what they just said. The El Camino Real had a significant relationship to gold, as it served as a trade route during the California gold rush, connecting the gold fields to major cities and ports. I just told you Hoover was a gold miner. And he actually believed, one of his sayings, I might not get the saying correct, he says that the reason why we have gold is because you can't trust governments. That was his saying. He may have lost, but he did not, but his policies remain true to this day. Let me see what we have here. It says, you're going to see another scene here if I can find it. And it starts, let me see, the marker is, let me see if I can find this marker. Give me just a moment. I'm sure this video is going to get flagged, but it's okay. At least I'll get the information to you so you can see where I'm coming from. Like I said, we already established, and when we say phoenix, I'm going to say this. A phoenix can be anything that rises from the ashes. In crypto, there are many phoenixes. There could be many phoenix. I mean, many things can be at the bottom down there and be considered as an SHIT coin and rise to the top. So a lot of people get emotional and they put their emotions where they don't reside. They'll say that you're not being real about it, from the beginning, I continue to tell people I love crypto. I may love what I might be capable of doing with XRP if I invest in it or any other crypto, but I love crypto. I love the studying of it. I love the technology. I am not so blinded that I can't see other things, because we all invest in other things, if that's what you want to call it. Some of us put our finance in many different cryptos. Some of us put our finance in cryptos that fail. Some of us put finance in cryptos that moon. A moon is a phoenix. It really is. But how big of a phoenix determines on the relationship and business attributes that are involved in the particular venture. That's the only difference. But I have no issue with any of the crypto. Let's see who's all here today. It says, yes, laughing. Who else is here? I don't have a lot of people in the room today. Let me see what I got here. Let me see. On one scene, I don't want to go to it because I'm going to keep the video short. Jessie, a person unalived a housekeeper. And in this house that they're searching through, and Jessie was called in to help him to bury the person out in the desert, and they're showing you some historical trade routes. But during that time, he put back an M on the shelf. He put back the M of the world books. They're saying world books because they're talking about historical marks in history. And I just told you about the history, just what I just read through. So I'm going to leave it up to you to go do further studying. But I wanted to drop those jewels on you and hope that I have shared something special here today. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I hope that this was something very powerful and will give you more grounds to study on. Peace to all of the human family.